All right, let's talk about this week's newsletter. We are discussing monetization methods using MRR and PLR products. And buckle up because I have some big feelings about some of this, okay? I think that the first problem is that everyone gets caught up in they want to sell digital products. They know that that is the fastest way to make money because they get paid directly instead of having to wait. Like, you publish on Amazon books, journals, planners, right? It takes roughly 2 months to see any of the money. Okay. And not a lot of people who go into digital products want to wait that long. I don't blame them. All right. So the other problem is that then, aside from wanting instant money, people get stuck with, how do I do this? Like they think they have to design everything, they have to write every word from scratch. Suddenly they need to be Canva experts. And often it means that they end up spending months building out what should be done much faster. All right. This belief keeps people stuck. And so here's the truth. Sometimes the smartest move is leverage, and that's where MRR and PLR products can be super powerful. What are MRR PLR products? Well, these are done for you assets, templates, frameworks, prompts, products that you can customize, improve, rebrand, bundle, and turn into something that is aligned with your audience. So the MRR part stands for Master Resell Rights. And when a product comes with Master Resell Rights, the buyer is allowed to resell the product and keep 100% of the profits. And this license can also be passed along to the customer. PLR means private label rights, and this means that the product can be rebranded. You can change the colors, the fonts, the logo, any of the links to lead to your brand, and the content can be edited and revised, but you cannot claim copyright. All right. So, when used strategically, MRR PLR products, they can help you launch faster, create more offers, stop staring at a blank screen, get paid directly instead of waiting on commissions and royalty payments and things of that nature. Now, if you're new to this and you think that can't possibly be right, I assure you it is. You have to just change your mindset because instead of instead of it being a situation where you create everything from scratch, you're getting basically, like I said, a framework. And it's the equivalent of buying ingredients instead of planting the farm. You can create the meal, you just don't start at the dirt level. All right. Now, how to use MRR PLR the right way. And this is where I start having all the big feelings. So let me be clear. I don't teach lazy reselling or flooding the internet with low effort junk. I teach strategic leverage. That means that you're using the templates, the PLR, the done for you assets as a starting point, not the finished product. Here are the best practices. You are going to rebrand thoughtfully. Now, this is easy to do with Canva because you can very, very simply change all the fonts and colors to match your brand. Improve the content. So take a moment to think about how you can make the project better, easier to use, and more useful in general. For me, this often means changing the format of the product. You can't imagine how many guides should have been a spreadsheet or a Notion board. And once you figure this out, you'll build a reputation for quality products and people will seek you out for solutions to their problems. Add your voice, perspective, and examples. Make sure whatever you list for sale sounds like you created it. This is part of the branding process. Your voice is magical. Make sure your buyers hear it. Combine assets into better bundles. So, one of my favorite projects was a ton of work. I changed the format from a guide to a Google spreadsheet. I added analytics. I fixed grammar and punctuation. I have degrees in literature and I can't create products with obvious issues. Then I looked at the product and I thought, this should be bundled with some other products to create a complete solution to posting on Instagram. The time spent was absolutely worth it because the end product was perfect. Solve a specific problem for a specific audience. Use this as a baseline in product creation. What problem are you solving? Knowing this also helps you when it comes time to write the copy for your cart. Make it easier, clearer, prettier, or more useful. So, why did I change the product from a guide to a Google spreadsheet? Well, the guide had hooks on it. The hooks belonged on reels. And this involved copying and pasting. And nothing makes me more ragey than trying to select a portion from a huge content box on a Canva template. Plus, by moving the hooks to a spreadsheet, I was able to upload them into Canva's bulk create to generate over 100 reels in a matter of seconds. Respect licenses and usage rights. When I buy MRR PLR products, one of my first tasks in the workflow is to find the terms of use license. I want to see the permissions. Can I bundle this product? Can I edit it? Am I required to change the name? Or is the license missing altogether? Is there a set price or do I get to decide? Because whatever it says in the license, that's what you have to do. All right. And if I can't find a license, then sometimes that means I just have to kind of walk away from the product because I don't want to put myself in a position where I sell a product thinking it's MRR PLR because the person I bought it from says it was in the sales copy, and then find out that actually they just scraped these products off the internet or, and sometimes it's not malicious. Sometimes it's just confusion. So it could have been that they purchased it, got it confused with something else, added it in, thought it was, legitimately thought it was MRR PLR when it wasn't. Okay. So you may notice that I talked about the am I required to change the name? This is the part that makes me ragiest, and that's why it has a red flag next to it. Avoid just change the name products. If the main selling point is changing the title and relisting it, be careful. You may be buying the same recycled product that's been sold 10 different times under 10 different names. Okay. So I've had times when I purchased products and it it had like a different name to it. And then I did a little research and I found out that it was actually originally named something else. And I literally put that in the subheader. So I think it was something about like something Instagram blueprint. And then in the subheader, I put formerly posting for profits or something like that. Okay. So because I know that, if a product is non-refundable and you've spent money on it, you're not getting the money back. You might as well just light the money on fire and at least then it would keep you warm. So renaming is not value creation. It actually causes a lot of confusion. Remember, it is far better to take the time and improve the product, and look for products that you can genuinely enhance, reposition, combine, or make more useful, not just disguise with a prettier title. So I kind of have like this method that I've created. And because the business is called Soft Boss Empire, we're just going to call it the Soft Boss MRR PLR method. And this is what I do. And these are the tips that, should help you, from the moment that you consider purchasing. All right. And like the first thing I do is I try to select wisely. All too often, when it comes to MRR PLR bundles, I discovered that the bigger the bundle, the bigger the disappointment. So purchase with care and accept that there's a good chance that a significant portion will be missing and or unusable. I purchased recently a product called like 55 million, MRR PLR product bundle, right? And I literally purchased it at a very, very low price and thought to myself, at least I'm not losing a lot of money. Because potentially I could find something that I could edit and turn into gold, or I could just discover that a lot of it is missing. And it probably is because 55 million, I was not going to like add everything up to see if it was actually 55 million products. All right. So yeah, but I'm still sorting through that, which should tell you everything. Refine deeply. The best way to stand out in a crowded market is to improve the product. Again, this can mean making it more functional, grammatically correct, or easier to read. Remember, font size matters as much as font style. Sometimes font styles are really, really pretty, but they are absolutely impossible to read. So, when you have to choose between pretty or functional, and some of you who know me are not going to believe that I'm saying this, choose functional. All right. Brand it beautifully. So create a brand, use the same fonts and colors and elements. And if you already know these basics before you begin, the process goes faster. So, pro tip, you can save your fonts and colors and even your logo and elements in Canva. And do that to simplify every time you're going to rebrand an MRR PLR product. Okay, now solve specifically. So basically, know the problem you're solving with the product. So when I was buying things that said Instagram Blueprint, Instagram, I mean, quite honestly, I'm not sure there's a platform that I've used less. There isn't. Instagram is probably the one that I've done the least with. And because of that, anytime I have an opportunity to learn something about Instagram, I usually try to. So make sure that the problem you're solving is clear, make sure that the problem is actually solved, or improve the product so that it does what it claims by the time you put it up for sale. Sell ethically. I avoid bro marketing tactics. In fact, I mostly hate selling altogether. So I reframe everything as sharing. I'm not selling, I'm sharing. I'm sharing a solution, and potential buyers are deciding if this product solves their problem. This one distinction helps me so much. Also, never overpromise and never underdeliver. And scale intelligently. Grow what's already working. This is actually your secret weapon if you embrace it. Are you ready? So, it is the key to scaling. Because once a product works, instead of creating 10 new unrelated offers, do more with what's already proven. So you can do things like repurpose it. And that means that you could turn what started as a guide into a mini course. You can expand it. You can turn a 30-day planner into a quarterly planner, a holiday planner, or a seasonal planner. You can sell it in more places. So offer it in a membership, link it in your bio, offer it with a newsletter, or put it in bundles. You can automate it. So add it as an upsell, a downsell, or a bump offer, or feature it in your onboarding emails. And you can improve what is proven. So that's things like refresh the copy, add stronger graphics, include testimonials, and elevate the positioning of the product. This is how you build a product suite and a business using MRR PLR products. And that is why this is one of my favorite things. This is a Canva 390 plus MRR PLR Canva templates. When this came to me, when I bought it, it was on a whole bunch of different like pages and PDFs, and it was all over the place. So it was collected, put into a spreadsheet because that's one of my favorite organization tools. And then I went, well, I went through some, but mostly I hired like my staff. Steph went through it, and she removed all of the pro elements because, and this is another thing that makes me ragey, when you sell Canva templates, okay, there are not supposed to be any pro elements in them. Why? Because people who are buying them should not be forced to well, it's in Canva's terms and service. Like you don't even have to rationalize it. Like I can explain why I think it's the way it is. But most importantly, it doesn't matter. What matters is that's in Canva's terms of service. So don't do it. Don't have pro elements in there. And so everything in this bundle has already been cleaned up. The stuff has been removed. That means that some of them look a little blank and have a lot of design needs. But look at that as an opportunity to create and make it more your own. So I hope that this helps clear things up about using MRR and PLR because I love it. I really do love it. Um, and part of this comes down to my Clifton strengths. And if you have certain Clifton strengths, you're going to understand what I mean. But I like one of my Clifton strengths, I'm a number 6 maximizer. And that means that I love looking at stuff and I love figuring out how to make it better, how to improve it, how to make it more useful. So that is why MRR PLR products speak to me. And hopefully it will help you get a product suite together and sell digital products faster and better. All right. Have a nice rest of the day. Bye.